And one of the reasons we want to run BVA is it minimizes cost and has amazing value. Now, I've even been shocked. In the last couple of years, I've been shocked because I didn't think that we were that right where we could find expertise and they could really minimize costs as much as they have. And we know that society is headed toward automation. We know that a lot of people are uncomfortable with that, but that's okay. We want transparency. It's transparency that helps people who can't see, which means transparency has to be created by using simplicity that the non-observant can see. And it's the future. We have to be able to see into the future. So IMT predictions. If we have to use trust, we're headed for problems. Anything that requires relationships, collaboration, and trust is headed for some big-time problems. Right? I don't know how many of you have heard of this alliance contracting, came out of Australia. It's where we all work together, right? We all collaborate, and the risk will go away. I think today, many of the government entities in Australia outlaw alliance contracting. And private-public partnerships, right? Integrated project delivery, all these things, right, will work together. This is what all human beings want to do. Work together. We're all on the same team, right? Consensus. Yes. Share risk will end up with, I don't remember. No, it wasn't me. Don't know what happened.
That's what it's really about.
Yeah.
Distancing yourself.
Yes.
Targeted, yeah.
Okay, so we need some type of evidence on this. Contractors sue New York City's MTA over new debarment rules. What is this all? How recent is it? Oh, wow, this just happened. What's going on in New York City? They're so fed up with projects not finishing on time and on budget. They're proposing, if there's over a 10% deviation in time and cost, you're debarred. What? The contractor's saying, what? What does it mean to be debarred? For 5 years you can't do any work. What? Who causes the risk and the deviations? Is it the vendors or is it, quote, the clients and their system? And then they're going to debar the contractor? Oh my goodness, how can you do this? That's what they're saying. And not only will we debar you, we'll debar anybody who's connected with you, right? Any of your parent companies, they get disbarred. What? My goodness. Now, once you're debarred, how does it affect your ability to get work at any other government entity in all the other states? You're out of there. You're actually debarred in one of the states. My goodness. They're so frustrated with why they have change orders. They can't figure it out. So somebody has to take the hit. And who is it? The contractor. You must be not qualified. Right? Wow. Wow, this looks like a pretty big project. And I'm sorry, that should be $3 billion, I believe. Might be $2 billion. It's redoing a tunnel, right? Replacing a viaduct, a roadway in Washington, I believe, in Seattle. Right? Yes, Seattle. Well, what's going on here? Well, evidently, the joint venture contractor on this, let's say, $2 billion job is being asked to eat $57 million change order. What? How do you do that? Is it like, is there a buffet that offers like how to eat money? What's going on here? Is this going to have a hit on the bottom line for the company? My goodness. What's going on? Of course, the contractor said, oh, and it's more than 20% if it's, but I think it's 20%. So the joint venture now planned to appeal, right? And it's based on a change order for not meeting the time, right? And also, they want to be compensated for, quote, the boring machine breaking down, and they had to bring it up to the surface, right? And repair the boring machine and put it back down. They said this is unforeseen. The other side says, what do you mean unforeseen? You knew that all along. How can you have a disagreement if something was there or not that cost that much money? How can that happen? Are these people professional? How did they start the project? What happened was a lot of relationships, a lot of getting together. And when it happens, people start seeing what the ramifications are. They run. And then it goes to what? Court. Right? Amazing. Now, P3s, right? Public-private partnerships. This is right off of an article. Granite Construction, which lost a whole lot of money this year, and Floor, where the CEO had to step down. They're the second largest design-build contractor in the country. The CEO had to step down last year. New guy came in, and they said, we are not going to do this anymore. Right? And why are they not going to do this anymore? It's quite interesting. Right? Because it's detrimental on our business. Right? We will no longer pursue major design, build, transportation, public-private partnerships in which it held an equity stake, which means they don't want to be responsible for it anymore. Why would a big company like that do this? Well, let's look at the transfer of risk here. So how many of you know of a company called Granite? Are they in the Northwest? Oh, okay. And the CEO said it's no longer viable for his company. They will no longer pursue mega projects. And he says one of the biggest issues with these arrangements, they involve fixed price agreements that lock the contractors into a set fee and timetable. And when they have things that happen, who has to pay for it? Is the contractor. Right? And they've gone to court on these things. So this summer, 4 disputed projects led Granite to declare a net loss of really $100 million for the second quarter of 2019. How can you absorb things like this? Right. We are contractually obligated to continue work on these jobs and to recognize the associated costs regardless of whether we agree that the work we have been directed to perform is within scope of our contract. So basically now they have to eat everything that they're into or go to court and win. Wow. Well, Floor is, a bigger company. They're second largest. That's their second quarter loss, their third quarter loss. How can you suffer a loss like this? Well, they saw it coming, so they weren't totally shocked. I think the previous quarter they lost the same amount of money. I mean, the CEO actually had to step down. Right. Yeah, the firm reported a loss last quarter as well, and it was about the same size of loss. Right. Now, what's really interesting is their explanation. Fluor has denounced the amount of risk inherent in certain types of fixed-price public-private partnerships and said that it will pull back on these type of projects it pursues. We are not going to bid a project we don't think we can execute effectively. Wow. Does that make sense? Yeah? And then he says, and we're not going to take terms and conditions that unduly put risk on us. Wow. I was looking for another statement he said, but it might not be. Oh, here. Going forward, Fluor will only perform fixed price work on a selective basis in which there is a limited bid slate, which means not everybody and their uncle's on the bid slate, right? And an identifiable, quantifiable advantage over other bidders. What is he saying?
Their expertise. He's blind. Is he saying, I'm blind?
Wait a minute. Am I blind? No. What I'm saying that, no, he's saying, right, the only work that they're going to do is work, right, that they can have what? A clear way of seeing it, and they have the competitive advantage on, which means he's only saying they're going to take work where they have what? Tremendous expertise. He actually gave another statement, and I thought I had it, but he said, the only jobs we're going to take are jobs where we have total responsibility for the pre-engineering. Where is that?
It's like the last sentence there.
Oh, okay. Which Fluor executes the front-end engineering and design package and is allowed to perform sufficient due diligence. Right? Now, you're right. You know, they could like get greedy or get tempted, but the logic is there, right? That if they have expertise and they can do the pre-planning, it'll mitigate almost 90% of all risk. And the only reason they're having all these problems right now is because they get into an agreement where they are what? Collaborating. Hoping that this idea, and I remember my boss when I came to Arizona State University and I had the industry structure and I said, the price-based marketplace is where people, clients believe that they can get a lot of competition in and they can have the competition eat each other up, drive the cost down, then they're going to hire the low bidder, and then what they're going to do is try to manage direct the risk out of the project, right? And I said, the smart people want competition so that they can tell the difference. They can identify who the expert is so they can identify and utilize their expertise. It's a total different look at it. And I remember the words of my boss. He said, Dean, do you think that all the people in construction are stupid? He said, do you think you can walk in here and you can say that and it's going to solve problems? He said, all these people in the industry, they're highly qualified. They're highly experienced. What are you saying? And 25 years later, I reminded Bill Badger, remember what you told me? Why are we having problems? It's not a complex thing. It's because they're closed. They're in a silo. And this is true. So now, when I see a bigger company and they're having massive problems, I realize the only reason they're having problems is that no one did the right steps and made it simple and was responsible. They all got into collaboration. And there are a ton of these things happening now. It's quite interesting.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel for more content. If you have any questions about the best value approach or for Dr. Dean, leave them in the comment section below and we'll get to them in a later video. Thanks. We'll see you next time.